everybody, and welcome to the Stoner Report. Sorry about the lack of music. Hey, Steeltown, how are you? Anyways, thanks for joining me again for another edition. It's been a busy week in the world of medical marijuana. Also, there's some late-breaking news, which I've put in. Basically, the DEA has raided some Denver dispensaries. And that was yesterday. And also yesterday, the CBC reported that letters had been sent out to medical marijuana recipients, approximately 40,000 of them, stating from the Canadian Medical Marijuana Program. So that's quite two crazy things happening on both sides of the border. I don't think Jeremiah is going to be doing his show today, because he's on his way to Amsterdam. It's the Cannabis Cup, and him and a whole bunch of Pot TV people are on planes today, as far as I know. They're going to be there for a few days. I hope they have a wonderful time there. So there won't be any cannabis culture news today anyway, though Jeremiah did say he's going to try to get something going on with Skype. Al the Alchemist is also going. He has the show on Tuesdays, and we're going to try to Skype him in as well. So be tuned in onto the Be Real network at bereal.tv Tuesday at 11, and we'll see if we can come up with anything. All right, our first headline is a commentary piece. Can pot smoking be considered a form of free speech? Activists light up in protest of the war on drugs. They now face severe charges. The latest front in the battleground for rationalized drug laws is in downtown Philadelphia, where an activist is facing federal trial for marijuana possession. Asserts that he was smoking as a constitutionally protected method of political expression. Sorry about the sound there. The site is preserved for the First Amendment, Chris Goldstein said, pointing towards the glass and brick building near 6th and Market Street that contains the Liberty Bell. That's why we're here. Goldstein and one other defendant will plead their case in December trial that could result in 6 months in prison and $1,000 in fines. They're taking the full weight of the law against us, ostensibly for that single joint, said Goldstein, standing on the federal park space that lies in the shadow of the Independence Hall. It's here, at the site where the country's founding fathers signed the U.S. Constitution that gives all Americans the right to free speech, where he's been leading monthly smoke-down prohibition protests in his role as co-chair of Philadelphia NORML chapter. Activists have gathered to speak out against federal marijuana laws, and sometimes light up to make their point. Since October 2012, no one was cited until May. Since then, the local U.S. attorney has started cracking down. Hey, Willie, how's it going?
Marius.
More than 30 people have received tickets for 175, and several have been arrested. Goldstein was given a violation once in June and then again in August, and the feds are claiming it's because he was cited twice and they are dragging him in for the trial. He sees it differently. We've experienced very inconsistent enforcement, Goldstein said. They seek to prosecute us for making a stand for federal rights. Hey, Willie, how is canvassing going for Sensible BC?
Good. I'm doing phone calls right now without the keyboard, except there might be one in here.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, cool. Otherwise, I'd have you on the show if you wanted to, but it looks like you're a little bit busy. So I'll just mention now that if you haven't signed the Sensible BC campaign yet, if you're a resident of British Columbia, or if you want to become a canvasser, it's still not too late. It only takes a few days to get your canvasser certificate approved. And so please, if you have time, we really need to push it. We've got very little time left. So yeah, get out there and sign the petition and get others to sign it too. Talk to your friends. Do everything you can. Dana Larson said that if he fails, he's going to try it again anyway. But it'll be quite a step backwards if we have to try to do it again. So let's get it done right the first time. Uruguay's likely cannabis law could set tone for a war on drugs in Latin America. State control of marijuana market should be seen as part of a long and pragmatic tradition of market intervention and nationalism. Inhaling deeply from a large joint of unadulterated cannabis, Marcelo, take care, Willie. Thanks for everything. Marcelo Vasquez grins at the imminent prospect of his outlawed passion becoming Uruguay's newest state-sanctioned industry. This week, the country's Senate is expected to pass the world's most far-reaching drug legislation, which should transform Vasquez from a petty criminal into a registered user, grower, and ultimately, he hopes, a respected contributor to society. That would be quite a change. After a police raid earlier this year, Vasquez, whose home doubles as a marijuana nursery, was jailed and 70 of his pot plants were confiscated. But the court case that followed now looks likely to go down as one of the last cannabis trials in the country's history. The marijuana regulation bill, which has been passed by the lower house of the Uruguayan parliament, will allow registered users to buy up to 40 grams a month from a chemist, registered growers to keep up to 6 plants, and cannabis clubs to have up to 45 members and cultivate as many as 99 plants. Vasquez, who smokes 4 joints a day, is delighted. It's a great step forward that couldn't happen anywhere but here, he says. There's a lot more to marijuana than smoking and getting high. So that's hopefully will stop some of the violence in Latin America. New York Attorney General report slams New York Police Department stop and frisk. Hang on. Just lost the chat there for a second. Oh, there you go. How are you guys doing in chat? Hey, Dube. Yeah, we heard about the Colorado raids. I'm going to leave that for the rest of the end of the show because I'm kind of doing them in order. Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining. In a report issued late last week, New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman analyzed the impact of New York Police Department's stop and frisk search policies on the state's criminal justice system and on the people victimized by them. The results are illuminating, but not pretty. The report, a report on arrest arising from the New York City Police Department's stop and frisk practices, analyzed nearly 2.4 million stops between 2009 and 2012. Resulting in nearly 150,000 arrests. Of those arrests, nearly half led to guilty pleas or convictions at trial, but that is only 0.3% of all those stopped and frisked. Only 0.1% of all stop and frisk resulted in a conviction or guilty plea for a violent offense. My office's analysis of the city's stop and frisk practices has broad implications for law enforcement, both in New York City and across the state. It's our hope for that this report, the first of its kind, will advance the discussion on how to fight crime without overburdening our institutions or violating equal justice under the law, said Attorney General Schneiderman. The vast amount of data we analyzed over 4 years should serve as a helpful guide to municipalities, law enforcement officials around the state, where stop and frisk practices are used to varying degrees. I want to thank the NYPD and the Office of the Court Administration for providing the data for our report. Schneiderman was being politic, but his report's numbers speak for themselves. Close to half of all stop and frisk arrests resulted in no convictions because the arrests were never prosecuted. Their case was dismissed, or they received an adjournment in contemplation of dismissal. Just 1 in 16 stop and frisk arrests, or 0.3% of all stops, led to jail or prison sentences of more than 30 days. Just 1 in 50 stop and frisk arrests, or 0.1% of all stops, led to conviction for a violent crime. Just 1 in 50 stop and frisk arrests, or 0.1% of of all stops led to a conviction for possession of a weapon, and almost 1/4 of stop and frisk arrests were dismissed before arraignment or resulting of a non-criminal charge. So that we have the entire story up there, which we do when we get from Stop the Drug War. You can read the rest there, and there's very little. There's no mention of the racist implications of stop and frisk in this report. So besides being completely racist, it seems like it's completely useless in other regards as well. Now on to the medical marijuana front here. Cross-border story, because medical marijuana sought for children with seizures. A family moves to the U.S. because cannabinol is not going to come to Canada soon enough. A Canadian family has moved to Colorado to get a medical marijuana extract not available in Canada that the parents say has greatly helped their 13-month-old daughter, who has a rare and serious seizure condition. Barry Pogson told CBC Radio's The Current on Tuesday that his daughter Caitlin was having seizures that lasted 4 or 5 hours. In one case, she stopped breathing and had to be incubated. The family was concerned because when seizures lasted more than 5 minutes, there can be irreparable brain damage. We were just getting longer and longer seizures, so we kind of made the decision that it's just not going to come to Canada soon enough for us, and there's no sense waiting. And we just went, Pogson said. A week after starting treatment with a medical marijuana extract called cannabidol that is only available in Colorado, Caitlin was more alert, slept better, and hasn't had to return to emergency for seizures, he said. The strain of marijuana was named Charlotte's Web in honor of a girl who had dozens of violent seizures daily from the same life-threatening form of epilepsy called Dravet syndrome. The strain is engineered to be exceptionally low in THC, the compound that produces a high. And that would be high in CBD, which I believe is... I'll skip to that story. Cannabidol, the side of marijuana you don't know or may not know. Regular viewers will probably be familiar with it. If there's a marijuana-related compound you've heard of, it's likely tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. THC is what makes you high and the reason most recreational users partake. What most don't know is the medicinal value of the plant comes mostly from a different source, cannabidiol. Cannabidiol, CBD, is a non-psychoactive compound of marijuana that possesses a wide range of therapeutic benefits. When present in high qualities, CBD enhances THC's positive effects while negating many of the negatives. It's clear both cannabinoids coexist in the plant for a reason, often acting synergistically. The problem is growers realized decades ago that THC is what sells. It provides the floating, euphoric feeling people associate with marijuana. In order to enhance THC content, CBD has been bred out of many strains, leaving users with a highly psychoactive experience, but not necessarily the healthiest, especially for those with pre-existing mental disorders. The cannabinoid-reliant difference is demonstrated in the video, and there's a link to it on our site. Thankfully, the objective of growers is beginning to change. Recent research suggests CBD is an important part of the plant, and growers' medicinal dispensaries have increased their focus on high CBD strains, oils, edibles, and tinctures. So that should be news to the DEA, considering that this is medicinal. It comes from cannabis and it doesn't get you high. So, yeah. I'm sure they're not listening. Details of a West Virginia medical marijuana bill emerge. The first details about a proposal to legalize the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes in West Virginia emerged on Wednesday during a legislative committee meeting. The legislature's Joint Health Committee was told during an interim meeting that a bill allowing the use of medical marijuana is being drafted for consideration in the upcoming legislative session. The National Conference of State Legislators say 20 states and the District of Columbia allow the use of medical marijuana, though it's still prohibited under federal law. West Virginia lawmakers have spent time learning about an issue in at least one previous interim meeting earlier this year. Charles Ensky, chief counsel for the House Committee on Health and Human Resources, told the Joint Committee that a bill he's drafting for them would allow people with certain illnesses like cancer and glaucoma to possess up to 6 ounces of marijuana. If the bill becomes law, registered patients would be able to purchase medical marijuana at 5 compassion centers throughout the state that would be chosen through a competitive bid process, he said. Registered patients would also be allowed to have a limited number of 12 marijuana plants, he said. So hopefully that bill will emerge and get passed. Medical marijuana holds promise for Alzheimer's treatment. This is from the International Business Times. Cannabis has been used for medical purposes for centuries for treating a wealth of conditions from chronic pain to epilepsy. Its use in modern medicine has been stunted because of side effects. No, that's not the real reason it has been stunted. With the Food and Drugs Administration unwilling to approve its use. Researchers with Louisiana State University have found a way to reduce the side effects of memory loss associated with cannabis use and said it could be adapted as a treatment for Alzheimer's. Well, cannabis use is already a treatment for Alzheimer's in its natural form. In findings published in the journal Cell, senior author Chu Chen said, "Our studies have solved the long-time mystery of how marijuana causes neurological and memory impairments. The results suggest that the use of medical marijuana could be broadened if patients concurrently take a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug such as ibuprofen. The active ingredient, cannabis tetrahydrocannabinol, and some drugs based on the compound have been approved for medical use to treat nausea, vomiting, and chemotherapy patients." Well, not being a physician or a scientist, I can't really comment on that. It looks like they're trying to figure out how to stop the short-term memory loss effects of cannabis while treating people with THC, and I have to admit that THC does do that. So I don't know really enough to comment about it. It's interesting that and good that at least people are allowed to study it, because it was completely banned from study for many years in the U.S. and internationally. Okay, well, it's a couple of minutes before, or about a minute before 4:20, and I'm just going to save the last couple of stories for afterwards. Jody's on her way to visit Mark this weekend, so all our best wishes go to her and him. July 9th apparently is his release date. Leahy did not sign the transfer papers and doesn't look like he's going to, so he's going to be, Mark rather is going to be in the States for the next 8 months, eight and some odd months it seems. So if you haven't visited freemark.ca and heard about his story or sent him a letter, go there and send him a letter. There we go. Happy 2:20, everybody. And everybody in the time zone where it's 4:20. Here's my Cheech bong. I haven't used it for a while. I think I mentioned Cheech has, because I draw on Greg's show on Wednesdays, has offered to create a bong if I design it. So that's going through my head, and I'm going to talk to some of the people downstairs because they know all about bongs. And hopefully that'll be in the works soon. And I got to thank Cheech so much for this, for that opportunity, and thank you for this bong, which he gave to me a while ago. So happy 4:20 to everybody, and happy 2:20 to everybody in Vancouver. There we go. Nothing like wafting a big puff of smoke to the camera, is it? Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Let me look back at the chat. I keep obfuscating the chat with my browser. Hey everyone there, all 17 viewers. Hope you're having a good time. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so back to the show. This is quite the gaffe. Medical marijuana users outed in Health Canada privacy gaffe. Envelopes marked Medical Marijuana Access Program sent out to users all across Canada. Medical marijuana users are accusing the federal government of violating their privacy and jeopardizing their safety after Health Canada sent out letters in envelopes that outed them as medical marijuana users. Health Canada sent the letters to approximately 40,000 people across the country to inform them of changes to the Medical Marijuana Access Program beginning April 1st. Debbie Stills-Giffen, who has a license to grow marijuana in Nova Scotia, said any previous correspondence about the program came in plain brown envelopes and was sent by registered mail. The most recent letter, she said, was delivered in an envelope that referred explicitly to the Medical Marijuana Access Program and included her name and address on the envelope. I was instantly shocked and appalled to see the words Medical Marijuana and Health Canada exposed for everyone to see, Schultz-Giffen told CBC News on Thursday. Okay, well that's an amazing breach of privacy. Whether it was on purpose or not is really hard to say. I would have to say that probably on purpose. Whoever administered the program must have known the previous method of doing it and decided to change it. Could not possibly be stupid enough to have not done it on purpose, and I think it's just a way of pissing people off and letting the government know, hey, April 1st, we're coming for you. You better shut down your grow-up and chop down those plants, or we're going to send the cops in. So that's bully Stephen Harper and the Health Canada stooges coming at you. And in the States, we have an almost mirror. On Thursday, you almost think that it might have been coordinated. The DEA is raiding medical marijuana dispensaries in Denver. DEA and IRS agents, backed up by Denver and other state and local law enforcement, raided a number of Denver area medicinal marijuana dispensaries and grow operations Thursday. The U.S. Attorney for Colorado's office confirmed the raids were taking place. The Drug Enforcement Administration, Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigations, the Denver Police Department, and the state and local law enforcement are today executing lawfully obtained search warrants and seizure warrants, said Jeff Dorschner, spokesman for the U.S. Attorney of Colorado's office, in a Thursday statement. The statement now seems to have vanished, according to an editor's note. It was no longer available as to 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Although we cannot at this time discuss the substances of this pending investigation, the operation underway today comports with the department's recent guidance regarding marijuana enforcement matters, Dorschner added. As this is an ongoing investigation, no additional information will be made available, he said. Dorschner was referring to an August 29th Justice Department memorandum to federal prosecutors that said Obama administration would not interfere with marijuana legalization, provided certain boundaries were not crossed. U.S. Attorney for Colorado John Walsh laid them out in his own statement that day. Of particular concern to Attorney's office are cases involving marijuana trafficking directly or indirectly to children and young people, trafficking that involves violence and other federal criminal activity, trafficking conducted and financed by street gangs and drug cartels, cultivation of marijuana on Colorado's extensive state and federal public lands, and trafficking across the state and international lines. The Thursday raids come less than 2 months before state legal marijuana retail stores are set to open for business on January 1st. The Denver Post reported that the number of sites hit was about a dozen, while the alternative weekly Westward put the number at fewer than 20, although that number is tentative. Among businesses mentioned by reliable sources within the scene to Westward are VIP Wellness, Cherry Top, Farms, Marcuha, and Swiss Medical in Boulder. Westward printed a photo of police cars in the parking lot of Makaha, while the Post printed photos of piles of uprooted marijuana plants lying in the snow outside of Swiss Medical. Westward also reported that the owner of Swiss Medical told that the raid there was prompted by one person among multiple tenants using the space, but that the raiders seized all the plants belonging to anyone who grew there. That's similar to what happened at Cherry Top Farms in 2011, when federal raiders targeting one or more growers seized all the plants on the scene. We do not yet know the details of the latest federal actions, so it is too soon to say what inspired them, the Denver-based Marijuana Policy Project spokesman Mason DeVert said. The justice said that it would respect states' rights to regulate marijuana and that it would not go after businesses as long as they are complying with state laws. We hope they are sticking to their word and not interfering with any state-regulated, law-abiding businesses. Okay, well, that's sad news for Colorado dispensaries, about a dozen of them. I hope that they weren't breaking the regulations, because although I don't believe that the regulations are fair or anything, it would suck that if they get charged and convicted over that, like Philip Smith of Stop the Drug War reported. It's too soon to tell exactly what prompted them or what's going to happen. But yeah, it's kind of like the Empire Strikes Back this week. But there's always good news on the medical marijuana front. So anyways, I'll say a peace out to all the lounge staff, because I almost forgot. I'm going to take one more bong hit before I go, because that last one really kind of chilled me out and relaxed me. I don't think there's going to be a show for, I'm pretty sure there's not a show for Jeremiah's show today. I'm pretty sure he's on a plane right now. He would have posted on the front page if something had happened. Join us next week. I'm not sure if Opus is going to do a show on Monday, but keep your eyes on the webpage. Don't forget, Tuesday, we're going to try to come at you from Amsterdam for the Be Real TV and class in session with Al the Alchemist. Wednesday, of course, there will be Greg's show. There'll be Missing Al and Jeremiah, of course. I don't think they'll be back by then. I think they're coming back on Thursday. And next Friday, 2 o'clock, there'll be the Stoner Report again. And I'm pretty sure Jeremiah will be back for that. So I'm not sure what's going on with Vapor Central right now. Jeremiah told me something about that they don't want to do shows for us anymore. So I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything other than that. Kudos out to them. I hope they're doing well. I think we still post Matt Murnau's show. So you'll have to get clarity from Jeremiah as to that end of Pot TV. Okay, thanks again for watching the Stoner Report. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to everybody here in the lounge and the store and the rest of cannabis culture, and to all the dispensaries in Vancouver and everywhere. A big thank you to everybody in the pot community. It's a hard, long battle, but we got to just keep on with it. So thanks. Remember, cannabis is the most advanced plant in the world. We can utilize it to save ourselves, save the planet. All right? Take care. Peace out.